I want a man. Okay, well, first of all, the like, oh, but why did you take me this way? And I'm not trying to avoid. I don't think I made any actual accusations like that, but I did react. The video, yes, I got the idea that it was complaining about being called a liar, but I hadn't called you a liar. But my name was in the title. It was also about my my idea that we ought to be able to buy these supplies. And when I say you're confounding the issues, it's because, for example, you mostly in your video are talking about me being able to buy the pen idea, but you're conflating that with this idea that the government would have to produce goods needed for basic survival. I never said that. That idea comes from the retirees. They need basic survival. We're already trying to give them a pension amount that's supposed to cover basic survival. So we're already, committed, however much we are committed to that idea. The pen thing is entirely different, and you misstate it, right? They would not be if I go to, right now you need a GSA number to go to Skillcraft and buy those pens. You have to be from a government account. They are not subsidized. The government pays whatever that organization's called, these Industries of the Blind or something. It pays them. The cost of the pen is based on the cost of producing that, the labor and the materials, which are bought in a free market. And when the government says, well, you have to pay the employees a certain amount, that raises the price. It makes it easier for private people that aren't bound to that, private organizations, private companies, to undersell them on that basis if they can. Okay? But even so, that is based, what is an acceptable living wage? It's not just a number picked out, it's market driven. It's pegged to market, to the cost of living. So it seems to me that there's assumptions. Hythloday is making similar assumptions, like, as soon as you mention products of the government, it's got to be this way, price setting and forced to use these products. No. Okay? The power of the government in this is basically its bulk purchasing power. Okay, it has set up a thing that wants consistent, boom, it's not rapidly changing, there's not a lot of marketing and packaging, and therefore it has a more steady cost. In the 90s, the Department of Defense funded a lot of research in flat panel displays. Why? Because they wanted flat panel displays. But they didn't classify that research, and as a result, we all got cheap flat panel displays. Do you consider that your computer monitor then is, that you've taken government property because they developed knowledge that was used by private enterprises to create that good and sell it to you at cost plus profit? No. And that's what would be going on here. If I buy a box of pens from Skillcraft, I pay what it costs to make them. The government is not subsidizing that. There is a benefit I'm getting from the government of that they set the specification, But they did that for their own needs, like the Department of Defense did. And I'm just saying, well, this is my government. I would like in on the result of that. The cost was already put in for their own needs. The benefit of the cost, being able to make those specifications and make the contracts, that's already happened and is its own exchange. I'm just saying, hey, look, that looks like a good specification for me too. Why shouldn't I be able to buy it? The only reason it comes up in the senior commissary thing is to show people that there doesn't have to be just subsidizing of private prices, whatever the private prices might want to be, that there are already thousands of products because the government does everything, right? The government runs hospitals. It has camps people have to eat, shave. It's got all kinds of products because it's got so many employees and so many different endeavors. Right? So the point of bringing up that idea is just that these are products you could stock that commissary with. And the retirees' prices might be fixed. Those might be subsidized. But again, I point out, we're already claiming to provide for a basic sustenance level for the retirees with their pension, with their Social Security. Right? It's a separate thing that I think I, as a U.S. citizen, ought to have access to buy those same products. Not to get them for free, not to get them subsidized, but to get them at cost. Why are they cheaper? Not because they're subsidized, but because there is no marketing infrastructure related to them. They don't just arbitrarily change to fit the market. They don't spend money on focus groups to decide, is it better to have a red package or a yellow package or a blue package or a multicolored package? Do people understand our branding? Does this, you know, emblem burn into the memory as well as this other emblem? They don't do any of that. It's just a pen for pen's purposes. Because we want a pen for a utilitarian reason. It's driven by the need for pens, not by the need to make money off of something which might happen to be a pen. Okay. So it's just wrong when you talk about, about it being like this, a school or these other things, because I'm not saying I want things the government has already paid for and then I want them at a less than what they cost to produce. Quite the opposite. I want to pay what they cost to produce. I want to pay what the government pays for them. What the government pays for them. I don't want a subsidy. I want those products that are created for utilitarian reasons, with a utilitarian system, to be available for the rest of us utilitarians. Okay? And it's made complicated by the fact that people hear anything like this and they're just like, oh, well, it's a fixed Stalinist economy. Look at Heithel today. He's acting like I need to face the fact that saying we should have the commissary idea means that it's going to have all the problems of a totally fixed economy. As if you fixed the economy and had all the prices set by the government, that's the same. When it's not. I mean, that's just a little part. And in the case of these pens, the people making the pens are still buying ink in the market. That's where the price is set. The market is still doing its work, trying to find out what the right price is at a given moment for something based on all of its contributing sources and how much people want it or need it. Right? So you can't say, look, you're trying to do this totally Stalinist kind of controlled economy, because in that kind of economy, the government is getting the natural resources, refining them down into the component chemicals, it's putting those chemicals into ink, it's putting the ink into pens, and at every step it's controlling the price and possibly subsidizing it. Okay. So you don't seem to understand, no, the government has made bulk purchases at such bulk that there's actually a manufacturing industry to make them. And I'm just saying that I would like to buy some of those stream of products, or to be able to. I'm not actually saying I would buy them, because I think it's a philosophical principle. The government belongs to us, the people. The specifications for those pens were done on our money. And that doesn't mean that I'm saying that they have to specify pens for the people in the public. They should just go ahead and specify those products. I don't want them to make a new, like chopsticks. They don't produce chopsticks. I'm not saying the government, I need chopsticks to eat rice. The government should go invent some design for chopsticks and produce them at an affordable rate. I'm not saying that. I specifically am not saying that. That's why I'm making the point that these products are already produced for needs that the government already has. They already exist. Their cost, their specifications, already known. Okay. So it's not a subsidy to say that I believe I, as a citizen, should be eligible to buy from the same sources that my government buys from. Okay. It could be a bad idea. Obviously, I don't think so. But there's complications. But they aren't these just general complications of, well, then you get the problem of people subsidizing like people that subsidize public education. No, because there is no subsidy. If you want the pens, you buy them and pay for them. If you don't, you don't. There's nobody that doesn't want these government pens that would be paying for them. The pens they have to pay for are the ones in the post office and used in the mill. They're paying, our taxes are paying for those pens, but the ones I would buy, I would pay for directly, me. Okay? So other than that, no problem. I'm not offended. I don't know if you seemed a little bit offended, but I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you started off your video. It was a mixed video. It's not my thing to sort it out, but I did my part to just sort out the part that was relevant to me.